Hello, everyone. I'm Sam Eckmann of Gold Derby here with Lenny Kravitz, writer of the original song Road to Freedom from Rustin. And Lenny, it always feels to me like an end credit song for a movie must come with a lot of pressure because you're kind of responsible for the mood that people, leave the theater with and, leave into the world with. Did you feel that pressure? What was your goal then with this?
I mean, I didn't feel pressure because I don't go into things like that, but I definitely felt a responsibility. And so, I spent time speaking with George Wolfe, the director, who had very specific ideas about vibe and tone and lyrics. So I just kind of got quiet. I waited for a couple days after I got the phone call uh, because I don't like to sit down to write. I prefer to wait to hear something that's being transmitted. I'm just an antenna. That's what my job is, to pick up what's, you know, uh, to be given. So it took a couple days. I was quiet, watched the film, thought, spoke with George, spoke with Colman as well, which I thought was important because he had just embodied Bayard Rustin, and I wanted to know what he felt. Um, Put my hands down on the piano, and it all just came. And because my whole thing again, God, just give it to me. And then when it was done and I thought it was finished, uh, George had some very specific ideas about things, and I ended up rewriting and rewriting and rewriting and rewriting and rewriting lyrics. Um, because although I may have been saying uh, what it is that needed to be said, there's many ways to say it, right? And George, as the director, has a vivid idea about how he wants it to be. For the exact reason that you mentioned, he just set this whole thing up for however long the film is. And this song that's coming in right after the end can embellish it or it can go against it. And so George, as the director, knows best what he's looking for because he just painted this picture. So I had to complement that. And that took a lot of back and forth. But it was a wonderful process, and it was an honor to be part of something so beautiful. I mean, it's time for Bayard Rustin's story to be told, and for him uh, to, receive uh, that energy.
Yeah. And the
Hmm.
film does a great job of that. And I know George is a very
Yeah,
specific director with all of his projects.
very
Um,
specific, extremely, um, and that's a good thing, right?
yes, absolutely. One of
Yeah.
the things in the lyrics, which you're talking about, that really stood out to me was conveying this journey that it's not done. We are on this road and it's still going, which just it pairs so well with that final moment where we see Bayard Rustin picking up the trash in this film. How much did you use that final scene as a jumping off point, or did you more just think of
It
the
it
vibe
was
of
a
it?
no, it gave me a lot of energy. And also when I spoke with Coleman, because I asked him, I said, "What do you have to tell me? What anything?" And he thought for a moment, he got quiet, and he said, "It's about the work. It's about the work." Which that lyric, of course, made it. We're on the road to freedom until the war is won. We're on the road to freedom. There's so much work to be done because this road to freedom is ongoing as long as there are human beings. Uh, that road will be walked, walls will be knocked down, and we will continue uh, by the grace of God and our power to be, to move forward. And so, although the movie is about a specific time, that road is timeless. And I wanted the song to be balanced between, past, present, and future. Mhm.
And in a similar manner that, you know, maybe the scene provided inspiration, Branford Marsalis wrote this great score, which really propels
Beautiful.
this movie along. And to me, it felt like his score almost kind of unleashes into your song in a way. They feel like companions to me. Did that cross your mind at all, or is that just kind of a happy accident?
You know, I didn't think about it like that, but things happen as they should, and that's great. And I did speak to Branford. We did speak and talk about this, and you know, there were certain tones that George wanted that Branford and I discussed, which were the trombones. Uh, that was very important to George as an energy, as a character. Um, these trombone choirs that you have in the Carolinas that play
Yeah.
gospel and hymns. Um, uh, that was a specific note. And I was very fortunate to be able to get my friend Trombone Shorty to fly to Paris on a day off of his tour and bless me with those beautiful, beautiful trombones.
Yeah, they're so powerful.
Mhm.
Did you feel like you had to have a different type of songwriting process when you're writing a
No,
song like this?
no. I just again, like I say, I just wait.
Mm.
I gather the information that I need, or I get in the mood that I need to get into, and then I just wait for a piece of inspiration that will lead me to where I'm supposed to go, you know?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And this figure in the movie by Rustin is, I think, sadly, someone who not many of us are super familiar with, even though we know so much about the civil rights movement.
Hmm.
His story has not really
Hmm.
been told in full until now in many places.
No,
How
no.
familiar were you before you jumped on this?
You know, I'll preface by saying, you know, I grew up in a family that was uh, deeply involved in the civil rights movement, uh, and I did not know much about him, and that bothered me. And that is the main reason why I knew that, you know, when I got the call that I had to do this. So I had to educate myself, and then I had, you know, to write this song. But no, uh, he got passed over in a way, you know, and but all things happen when they should, and it's a beautiful time for this story to be told. It's a time where I believe people can digest this and really honor it for what it is. Uh, Perhaps at well, obviously at the time it could not be, you know. Um, so here we are, and again, it's uh, it's really an honor and a privilege to be a part of it because this is all about Bayard and the movement.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
You mentioned before your process is kind of sitting and waiting.
Hmm.
What will come to me?
Hmm.
When something does come to you, is it normally show up like a lyric or a melody? What are kind of the first parts of your process that flow out of
It could
you?
be anything. Normally, it's chords and melody. So whether I hear it in my head or I sit at a piano or a guitar, it's normally chord structure and melody, and then out of the melody, I hear the words. That's the usual process.
Does
Hmm.
that make it feel, you know, there's that classic thing with artists that sometimes you have to kill your darlings. And does that make it hard to make adjustments because you feel like you've got such an inspiration from some other
It
source?
it it is because you really feel like, you know, you said what you had to say, and then you're challenged to say it a different way. Uh, I had to not be tied to it, even though I was. I had to take that knot apart, you know, and be open to um, saying things in ways that George felt that I was complimenting uh, his film.
Yeah. It
Hmm.
almost maybe in a way, because you've done acting yourself, does it feel maybe like you're taking on a bit of a character, like you're writing from a certain
Absolutely,
perspective in this
absolutely.
case?
Absolutely. And my job is to be there uh, for the character, you know? So again, it's not about me and how I feel it should be. I can do that on my albums, you know? Um, this is to serve a director, a character, uh, and I like that. I like that. I enjoy the rub because, as I say, I normally don't have that. I work primarily by myself, and I do what I do, and I don't have to discuss it with anybody. And so this was definitely refreshing, and I learned a lot as well.
Well, it's a great capstone to this film, and clearly other people thought so. You just got a Golden Globe nomination for it, so congratulations on that.
Thank you
And
so much.
you know, you're no stranger to the awards scene. You're a past Grammy winner, but what does it feel like to get recognition for this side of things, your film contributions?
It's exciting. Um, you know, new experiences in life give me energy, and more than that, being recognized for this particular film with this particular message at this particular time uh, is really thrilling. You know, there's uh, there's so much behind this. You know, when I got the phone call uh, about doing this from Bruce Cohen, the producer, um, the first thing I heard was my mother saying, "You need to do this," because I was in the middle of finishing my album. There was a lot of things going on. I didn't technically have the time. You know, I had deadlines and things, and this, of course, was due. You know, they call me and they say it's due yesterday. You know, and but I heard my mother's voice because of who my mother was, what she went through um, as a you know Black woman at that time, an actress, an activist, uh, a pioneer in theater, where they were using so much of their theater to further the cause and to you know put out all of these messages. Um, she was in my ear. You need to do this, and so I felt a great sense of personal purpose as well. Hmm.
Well, when mom tells you you gotta get on
You know?
it. Well, you mentioned your album before. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you
Mm.
about that because this, I think, has been your longest stretch without an album. It'll be about 5 years.
Yeah, the pandemic kind of added a couple of years to that. But you know, it was as you know, the pandemic was what it was. We all know that.
Sure.
And um, I lost people. A lot of people lost people. It was a very hard time in so many different realms. Um, but it enabled the positive of that time was it gave me time to reset my life, reset my spirit, um, be able to work on things without any idea of when the world was going to reopen, and time went away. So I spent time um, being creative, um, recreating myself. Um, we say the word recreation the way we pronounce it, but it's recreation, and we
Yeah.
all need that time, and it's a luxury because we don't all get that time. People have to work and do things to put food on the table, and everyone doesn't get that opportunity, but I did, and I'm grateful for it because it was just a really good time for me to be alone, um, be able to deal with myself and things that I needed to deal with, and just be creative. I probably made 3 albums, 4 albums worth
Oh,
of
wow.
music, and so the first one that's coming out in March is this collection of songs, and it's called Blue Electric Light is the name of the album. I released a song recently called TK421 that was kind of just a little preview. The first single called Human will be coming out in January, and then the album comes out in March, and then I'm getting ready to get back on the road and go tour for, a couple of years. When the pandemic hit, I was 2 years into a 3-year tour, and of course I had to stop. So I'm really excited to be getting back on the road and being out in the world with people and sharing the music and sharing the love and sharing the vibes.
With all that creative time, you said you wrote 3 albums worth of stuff. Does it feel like you discovered, is there a new sound that you feel like is coming out of that period?
Well, this Blue Electric Light is definitely something different from me. And yes, I'm more open than ever to change, and yeah, that creates new art, new expression.
Yeah. Well, we
Mhm.
can't wait for the album,
Oh,
Blue
I
Electric Light.
appreciate
Looking forward to it. And
it.
congratulations again on the song for Rustin. Amazing end to an amazing film. For everyone out there who's watching, make sure you subscribe to Gold Derby. Stick with us. And Lenny, thank you so much.
I appreciate your time. It's good to speak to you this morning.